Boy Young, I attended school here at Walter Hill in 1972 through 1979. At that time, Walter Hill was a 1 through 12 school in 72. That's right, was 71 is when that school year actually started. In 72, they opened up Oakland Riverdale. I remember Walter Hill being a real close-knit community. The families, we all knew each other outside of school, went to church together, played ball together. I just remember, in our early years of Walter Hill, and of course back then it was the old building. The only thing that still remains here from the time I went to school is the gym. I remember when the new gym was built, and I might have been in the 5th or 6th grade when that gym was built, and we was glad to see it because the old gym we had down here was pretty dilapidated. You couldn't even use it really. We couldn't even hold basketball games in there, but we still would sneak in there and play kickball and things like that on rainy days. Some of the teachers was real good about playing. We had a good little board in the classroom. They'd get us outside, play, and get us recharged and ready to finish out our school day. I can remember Ms. Edwards playing softball with us. She'd take us outside and play softball. Mr. Harder, he would take us on field trips. We'd go on a lot of field trips out here and go up and down the creek, catching all kind of critters. And it was a real fun time back when you could do things that the smaller communities, smaller schools could do back then. Of course, after we got the new gym, I remember I was the basketball manager under Coach Owens, and we had some very successful basketball teams back in those days. Barry Roach, Wesley Wright, Mickey Barrett, Eddie Young, Buck Patterson. Those guys were good athletes here and really kind of kept Walter Hill on the map as far as playing sports. And just remember making a lot of childhood memories here. Friends that I met friends that I'm still friends with today. We still talk about the good old times, and you really miss those old days when you had a small community, because back then our school was probably, even when I started, 1st through 12, maybe only had 300 or 400 students at Walter Hill at that time. I can almost remember all my teachers. I could remember 1st grade, Ms. Nunley, and then 2nd grade, Ms. Zachary. 3rd grade was Ms. Edwards. 4th grade was Ms. Jones. 5th grade, Ms. Rowlett, Ms. Moore, Ms. Scudder. She was a teacher here that I remember we had mock presidential debates in her classroom, and the teachers would really keep you involved and keep you interested in learning. Mr. Harder, I mentioned him earlier. Ms. Simpson, she was a math teacher here. Very hard, but she did a good job. She definitely taught us well. And of course, Coach Owens, Ms. Baird was one of my favorites. But the principal that was here when I started, I think he was really what set the tone. Mr. Roger Brewington, he was a big disciplinarian. He kept us all in line. It was just a real good community, great school, and it's good to see that we're still carrying on the traditions today. We had square dancing here. Big Daddy Bradley's, the Red Barn over here on Matthews property, that was a square dancing hall. And I can remember in the old school, when you walked in the building, it was an auditorium, and you had a stage up there. And I remember we had square dancing. I was part of the square dancing team here. We had, of course, had fall festivals back in those days. One year was the prince of the fall festivals. I was Prince, and Robin Eads Gentry now, she was the princess. So, it just brings back a lot of good times and old memories.